one. YouTube, you want to be nice? There we go. All right. Hey, everybody. At least on my chat.
I'm also streaming now, thankfully.
All right. The co-stream collaboration fun times have begun. Hi, everybody. Welcome to not episode 3. Only the real hardcore fans will call it episode 3. Episode 2 of the Xenoblade Network podcast. We are here. I think it's only been a month, but I feel like it's been 3 months, at least in terms of information, since we last did the show. And just to show how on top of it we are, I'm going to test, because we had a formula every time we did the show of any time a question or anything was pulled in terms of who answers first. So we're going to see if you all remember how that order is supposed to go. And I'm going to ask, what the heck have you been up to in the last month, person number 1?
Hi.
You are correct. You were first because you're alphabetical order.
Yes.
Do you remember the alphabet?
No, actually, I failed first grade.
We call it the alphabet.
Alphabet. Oh my god. I've been doing good. I've been doing really good. Just playing more Xenoblade 2. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh as of late, although not as much recently. Ironically, despite what I just said. Doing a lot of video stuff. I've managed to finally get a capture card for consoles, so I'm gonna be able to capture a lot of footage as well.
Nice.
And
you got the card.
Well, I guess without spoilers, where are you at with your Xenoblade run?
Counterattack. If you know when that shows up.
I was gonna say, it's like, well, if you know, you know. Well, Macaman, I won't make your brain do any hard work because I don't know if you actually had to work today. But what have you been up to for the last month?
I've been working on, working, working my normal job, but then also, working on some projects. Doing a little something a little bit earlier. Maybe doing a little something right now. Who knows? I don't want to say what it is publicly just yet, but we'll see how things go. But yeah, I've been doing all right. I'm eating a pizza right now.
Can we do this episode entirely in Sopranos accents?
Hey.
Oh,
I'm
hey,
walking
Shulk.
here.
Oh, hey, Shulk, what's going on? You got the gabagool.
Hey, that's
That's
Dumban over
over
there.
there.
This is a sad real
think
question.
we could
Do like kids these days know what the Sopranos is?
No.
Fuck no.
Probably.
Kid
I barely know what they are.
Well, Mac,
I'm like a
besides the
2000
adult
baby.
answer, what the hell have you been playing?
A lot. Because I've gotten back to the point of going through my backlog. So I finally played Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. And then I played I played a little bit of DMC 5 Special Edition, a little bit of Virgil. And now I'm playing Melody of Memory. I also before all that, I finally beat Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, you finished that. Nice.
Original or
What'd you think?
remake?
I really liked it. It's absolutely just a situation of, oh my god, this game has been so overrated over the years, but it's like
100%.
in context of when it released, I can absolutely see why it's, was such a big deal. I still think it's really good though. I also got Advent Children, and I'm gonna watch that eventually.
You've never
See, I gotta
seen
say,
Advent
like,
Children?
one of the things.
No, I never beat the base game, so why would I?
Let me tell you, most people who grew up watching Advent Children, I guarantee never beat Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, at the very least, I will say my roommate has seen Advent Children, and he's never touched Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, so I have a couple of weird Final Fantasy questions then for you. Will you watch the First Order anime? It's more like an OVA.
No.
Will you watch the Blu-ray extended edition of Advent Children, or are you just going to go a normal theatrical version?
Hold on, did you say will I watch First Order or have I watched?
No, will you? I'm asking if these are things you'll now be interested in.
Okay, I probably will watch First Order.
Okay.
Just, I'll have to just do a little bit of digging. I haven't thought about it at all, but I am aware of it. I am absolutely watching the complete version of Advent Children because why not?
Prepare
I'm
to
basically
learn a lot
gonna
about
watch
Denzel.
everything. I'm gonna watch everything that's on that Blu-ray.
I doubt you'll actually watch everything, although I think I have like some like steroid edition where it comes with like 13 hours of like bonus features that's like not really necessary. All right, and then
I don't know about that. I just got the 4K.
The two hard questions. I'll give you the hard one first. Will you play Dirge of Cerberus now?
That's your answer. I laugh.
And then will you play, which I am just going to put this out there, Praying to All That Is Holy will be added to the new PlayStation Plus service in like a month and a half, Crisis Core.
I've already played Crisis Core. I played Crisis Core before I finished Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, well, was this like recently, like you did it on purpose because it was a prequel?
No, I did it years ago.
Wow, that's weird. That's more weird than Advent Children for me. That you have played Crisis Core but never watched Advent Children. That's gonna make Advent Children a trip for you. Then wow.
Yeah, no, this is completion of a saga, a weird ass saga.
Oh wait, hold on. One more extra question because I don't think you've done this. Have you played episode Yuffie for FF7 Remake?
Yes, after I beat the base game, I went and played it.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if you had a PS5 by then. Okay, so your FF7 homework is not as scary as I thought. That's good to hear.
No, literally all I have left is Advent Children, Dirge, which I already have stated my thoughts, and technically everything that has not, at this point, has not been released in English.
I mean, yeah, you don't need to play Before Crisis.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah.
But in terms of like the big stuff, I'm good.
I mean, that's crazy.
I was thinking I could just play the base game of Final Fantasy VII and then the remake.
You can.
What's wrong?
You 100% can.
It's not as bad as
what I did.
for sure.
It's more of like if you enjoyed the world, you'll get a lot out of the extra. Like for me growing up, actually, I liked everything in the world of Final Fantasy VII almost more than the base original game until Remake came out. But yeah. Mr. question mark over here. You have, I think, 19 dogs recording with you right now. Mr. Ringo,
Something
how's
like
it going?
That. Doing all right. How are you?
We're fantastic. We're reunited, and it feels so good. But what have you been up to besides streaming on Twitch TV .Ringosaurus Rex?
I was gonna say, I've just been streaming Tales of Eternia. I'm almost finished that.
Oh,
finally!
Dang, we've got breaking news. The 9 millionth
Almost.
Tales game just got canceled. How do you feel about it? Live reaction.
Damn, that sucks. I get to play all the other ones then.
Yeah. I don't think people, unless you're aware of Tales as a series, I don't think people realize, how many mobile Tales games there are and how many have died.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't they we're going to release this game and we're going to support it for years. We have so many stories we can tell. And then not even a year later, they're like, yeah, it's gone. We're killing it.
Yep. And then they made an anime and I looked at it and I was like, this isn't Tales.
Did they also kill that?
It completed. I don't think it got renewed for a second season.
Thank you, Tales.
Yep, so they killed it.
As far as I know, anyway.
Are you playing anything off stream or anything of interesting note?
Overwatch 2 until the beta dies. It's just giving it a go, seeing how that goes. Pretty fun so far.
It's the same as Overwatch 1.
Is it? Are the Breaking Bad memes fair?
What's up?
Are the Breaking Bad memes fair? If it's just Overwatch 1 with the Mexico filter.
Exactly.
Surface-wise, yes, it looks exactly the same. I think there is a bit of nuance to it now. They definitely did enough to change it, but at the same time they didn't really change it, which is both good and bad for me, because it's I enjoyed Overwatch 1. I just hated certain aspects of it, and it feels that the design and rebalancing of everything has eliminated those problems for me enough to be wow, this is a fun game again. So people are in a fit. It's oh, this isn't as worthy of a sequel, and I'm it was never really supposed to be, but okay, yeah.
I
I'll call it
am
two in that
so
case.
curious how they're going to sell that game. Like, that's going to be
So
such an
the
uphill
way I believe it works is if you have bought
battle. Oh, okay. Well,
Overwatch
no.
1,
We're not
you
going
get
to get into that. Yeah, the multiplayer's the
yeah.
multiplayer. I mean, like, they will sell a box that says Overwatch 2 on it, or like basically they're selling the co-op campaign elements of it. I want to know how much
Yeah.
that's going to cost, because that's what has me genuinely curious.
That's gonna be. They really can't slap $60 on that and ever think I'd ever buy that because I'm not. They haven't gotten me to buy Halo
Ringo,
Infinite
I
Story yet.
appreciate your optimism in
To be fair,
2022.
Halo
You're
Infinite
not aware of
Story
the
is good.
Activision $70 rule now.
Ugh. Didn't even realize. Yeah, zero chance. Like negative 0.5. I don't know. Negative 0.5%. I'll give them that. We're not getting to the negative point, the negative 1% just yet. But man, do I hate that. Disgusting.
So I'm
Kill the fire.
I'm not going to talk about what I've been playing just because I've been playing a ton of stuff. Like, thank God it's backlog season. I'm just going to say, if you're sad games are getting delayed or not releasing this year, just enjoy this time to catch up on your backlog, because God knows we all need help. So I'm actually going to talk because I feel like I've just been in full-on fanboy mode recently. I'm just like, the Xeno bug is real in my brain. Like, in the last month, I picked up the Xenoblade Chronicles X strategy guide, which I didn't know was a thing. But to be fair, I probably should have known, because that was back in that era where Prima was releasing a strategy guide for everything, even like random like Wii U games. So shout out to the random Prima strategy guide I bought 7 years after release, and got a pretty good deal on it, although I am not opening it because I'm going to strictly, like, I'm willing it into existence. I bought it sealed, mostly so I could guarantee, because it comes with, like, a microfiber cloth. I kept it sealed, and I will not open it until we get a port of X. That's like my way of negging it into existence. But besides that, I've also popped my Nintendo Switch cherry. I am now I don't know if proud owner is the right word, but I am a owner of a Pro Controller after owning the system for 6 years or whatever amount it is. So ask me anything. I bought the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Pro Controller. I will say, going from PlayStation 5 to Xbox Series X to the Pro Controller, it is noticeably smaller, which I wasn't expecting, just because like I feel like controllers kept getting bigger. My past experience with Pro controllers were this. Friends would say, "Do you want to use this?" I would say, "Gross, give me a single Joy-Con over a Pro controller any day."
Why?
It was a preference thing. Like, I didn't love how it looked. I ergonomically was a little busy for my liking, and most of it was like, I want to give it a chance though, because there are certainly games that like will not be benefited by playing Joy-Cons. Because there are some games I like playing split-hand Joy-Con, and just like letting my hands dangle, or like playing something like a Skyward Sword, or like something really motion-heavy wise. I'm going to use the Joy-Cons for stuff like that, but for something like
I'm actually doing that right now for I'm doing that for Melody of Memory.
oh, dude,
Oh,
rhythm games like that, like Melody of Memory is perfect for the Joy-Cons.
I will say I played Celeste on the Joy-Con because the I have to say, of all the D-pads that I've played on, aside from a keyboard, I would say that the Joy-Con D-pad was perfect for me to play Celeste, specifically because of the separated buttons for each.
That game for me is
directions.
Tetris with the separated D-pad buttons is like perfect, because you can't like accidentally press the direction.
I can't play Tetris on a D-pad. I need a keyboard.
Well, that's why I like the Joy-Con though, because they are the separated buttons, so it has that tactile feel to me. But I definitely get that. But no, so I know I'm in the minority of not liking the Pro Controller, but I liked the idea of it enough, or at least I was Xenoblade crazy enough to go out of my way to not only get a Xenoblade 2 Pro Controller, which isn't that rare. Like, you can find them for $60 on the used market pretty easily. I had to find a new one, and I had to find it specifically with the North American one. I didn't want a European one. I didn't want a Japanese one, even though they look the same, just because I wanted the box to be the North American box. So I went out of my way and paid like $30 more than I probably should have. But I'm glad I did, and I will say, I have seen every variant of the Pro controllers so far. Shout out to that new Monster Hunter Rise one that just got announced. That actually looks pretty cool. I love the way this one looks way, way, way more than I would have thought ever in person, actually, like, playing it. It took a while to get comfortable because I felt like it was small just by comparison of going from PS5 to it. But I see a lot of benefits to it. Like, for longer sessions of playing stuff, like, weirdly enough, playing something like a Fire Emblem Three Houses, that does not need a Pro Controller. I don't feel I'm playing that any better on a Pro Controller, but like something like an action game, like a Hyrule Warriors, or something like more of like an action RPG, like a Xenoblade, that seems way more fit. Like a Pokemon. I haven't played Legends with a Pro. I wonder how I'd feel about that, because actually I play.
It's actually pretty good.
I play Legends though with motion on, and I know there's gyro in both, but I wonder how I would feel about it. But I will say I'm glad I didn't buy it and then still hated it. I'm glad I'm turning a new leaf with it. I don't know if I love it. I think the more I get back onto playing my Switch, I'll kind of figure that out. But it's been interesting picking it up. I'm glad I didn't have any like buyer's regret of like, God, why did I pay $90 for this fucking controller I hate? But I definitely understand why people like the Pro so much after, I think, 10 hours of playing it.
Yeah, that's one thing I gotta say I do really like about the Switch is that there's so many controller options, and like it's not terribly difficult to have more than one because the Joy-Cons just inherently have more than one. But even when you buy like a Pro controller, it's like, okay, this is a game. Like when I was playing Triangle Strategy, I played that with the Joy-Cons in the what's it called, the grip, because that to me just felt most appropriate. I tried it separate, and it just didn't feel right. But then when I was playing when I was playing Melody of Memory, Kingdom Hearts, I was like, I initially tried it just because I was coming off playing Final Fantasy VII, which I did do the grip with. When I was coming off and going to Melody of Memory, I was like, this doesn't feel right, so I just swapped over. And then when I play Monster Hunter or any kind of, action game like that, it feels, like I feel like this is the kind of game where I'd want a Pro controller or something. I have not played Monster Hunter Rise without that Pro controller.
Yeah, I still need to go back and play more Monster Hunter Rise, but like I can't imagine playing it on anything but the Pro controller. And it's the same thing for like something for me like Tales of Vesperia or like certain fighting games. Like you'd think that the D-pad on the controller would be shit for fighting games, and it is. That's why I don't. But the left stick is actually pretty responsive for games like BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle and Central Fiction.
I would never play a fighting game on the Switch.
Well, there's certain ones. I'll say BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is a good one just because it's a 2-button fighting game. So like that, you could play like you could play Cross Tag Battle with a single Joy-Con. Like it's that not complicated. I do ask though for you. So all of you have a Pro controller, right?
Yep.
Okay, so my question then is this. I play, because going back to like Mac's thing of like, it's great how many options the Switch has for controllers. I play Smash Ultimate exclusively on my Wavebird. How does playing Smash Brothers, do you think, would it go from GameCube controller to Pro controller? Like, would that feel like weird? Because I'm going to be real, Smash Brothers is one of those games that any time I play it on something that's not a GameCube controller, I'm like, ooh, this feels weird.
Yeah, I can understand why it would feel weird.
Yeah, I've gotten used to playing it on such weird controllers. Like I've gotten used to playing Smash on such weird controllers because I was always the best of my friend group, and especially on the Wii U era where you could use like literally anything that they made. I was always like, oh, here, everyone else have all the best GameCube controllers or whatever, and I'll take my 3DS.
Did you buy the 3DS controller?
No, I literally would use my 3DS because I had Smash. I bought a
Sorry, yeah.
3DS specifically for Smash 4 on that time. So it's like when I was connecting it to the Wii U, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just use that because it's like no one else is gonna ever touch that thing.
Can we just take a quick moment? What a weird time in history for those 2 months between Smash 3DS and Smash Wii U, where 3DS was the new thing. And it was like, wow, this is a weird, this is the future of Smash Brothers for 2 months, is playing it on this 3DS handheld. And then Wii U came out and everyone played it on there.
The definitive top tier because no one could handle retreating aerials. Rather, there were no retreating aerials. And Bowser was just the best grappler.
Well, controller... Actually, I guess before I write this, I will ask. So for Xenoblade, with something like that, what do you guys play it on? Like controller.
So it just felt so natural.
All right.
What did you use, Alto?
I used the Pro Controller. It just felt really natural, and at the time, my Joy-Cons were also drifting, so it was my only option. And because of how, I'd say, intensive, like, some of the high-level battles can get, like, some of the boss monsters there are bloody insane. And I cannot imagine doing that on a Joy-Con, just needing the constantly resources managed, like when you're switching blades, when you're doing the combos, etc., etc. Just like it feels insane to do that, like on a Joy-Con.
So, this is really weird. I don't know why this is why I did this the way I feel this way, but. When Xenoblade 2 came out, I played that with the grip. And in retrospect, like ever since first playing it and then like in the time since, anytime I boot it up, it feels wrong. I'm like, I really wish I could play this some other way. This just doesn't feel the right way to play this. And at that time, I didn't have a Pro Controller. I didn't get the Pro Controller until Monster Hunter Rise, the first Pro Controller that came out. So I that happened. Torna came out and I play it the same way where it's like, this feels better, but it's like, it's still ultimately kind of the same. But for whatever reason, when Xenoblade Definitive Edition came out, I played it with just the Joy-Cons, a grip, whatever. It felt totally fine. I don't know why. I have zero idea why, but I'm already decided that when 3 comes out, I'm going to play it with the Pro Controller.
As a fellow gripper, I guess as we call ourselves, how do you feel about using...
fucking name?
A what?
Spencer, you might want to rethink the next time you say something like that. I think you might get canceled.
Welcome to the Xenoblade podcast, my fellow Switch grippers.
Spencer, I swear to God, if you get canceled, me, Mac, and Ringo do not know you.
I'll print shirts that are just all black that say "Gripper, please." But no, I wanted to ask your opinion though, Mag. What is your thoughts on separated Joy-Con play while docked? Because that was my way of playing Xeno 1 and 2.
While docked?
Yeah, while docked, no grip, just one loose Joy-Con in each hand.
Oh, I don't even remember. Okay, so at least with Xenoblade 2, I'm gonna assume I tried it without the grip, and I'm gonna assume I probably didn't like how it felt because I don't recall ever trying 2 without it. Torna, I just kept with the grip because that's what I did the first time. Xenoblade 1. Again, I don't remember. I don't think I ever tried these games without the grip. Or at least if I did, I don't recall doing it. So, I don't know. It's weird.
Alright. We'll move on from the maybe racial slur questions and everything, but I did put up a poll.
Yeah.
I did put up a poll in my chat asking, are you a gripper?
Oh
yes or no?
my God, Spencer.
But hey, you know what? I would say their name, but their name on my YouTube chat was Dash. But shout out to the Pinky and the Brain avatar. Our first news story, because we actually have way too much news 25 minutes into this show. Xenoblade news is out the wazoo, and first big up news was we had a release date move. And I'm just gonna say, everybody, this feels like a millennia ago when this happened, but we went from a September release date, which, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, it was just September. It wasn't like it was a specific September date, right?
Generic September, yeah.
Okay. It went from September 2022, which was like, whoa, that's so soon, holy crap, to July 29th, then leading everyone to turn into that scene from SpongeBob where his brain is on fire, at least according to RPG Twitter. And Nintendo, I think, because what was so funny about it is, remember, the box art leaked on the website, and everyone was like, ooh, new trailer, can't wait. Like, we thought that was it. We'll get a new trailer, and there was a box art leak. Like, that was the best the news was going to be. And little did we know, Nintendo had a megaton of news, but the first big one was the release date, July 29th. Alto, what was your thought when you saw that got pushed up? Like, what was your immediate reaction?
Oh shit, Xenoblade's coming out so soon? I thought it was coming out in September. I guess I was wrong. Let me look it up. Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, oh, I thought it was September.
We
was like,
oh
oh wait,
just
it
did
was.
a collective double take online. We're like, no, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Is this the European one where it's actually the 29th month on the 7th day? Is that what it means?
Yeah. I was very confused, to say the least. It's exciting, but it also means I don't have the money, and based on some stuff me, you, Mac, and Ringo talked about before about how the collector's edition is still shipping in September, I have a feeling that it was a rush last minute, hey, we need to switch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
100.
Yeah, so
And
like the crazy thing about it though was I liked that if you were a Nintendo fan on Twitter, at least it seemed like the immediate like news from this wasn't like, because even though we've talked about this before, of like Xenoblade is a big Nintendo IP, but there are still a lot of people out there who don't really care about it as like an IP just because it is such a like more like intense RPG. But what I thought was interesting was this even got a lot of Nintendo people talking, because everyone, I feel like, instinctively knew, oh, Splatoon got delayed.
That was absolutely something where once I realized, okay, this is coming out in July now, that means we have, I was looking at that, I was like, July is typically when Splatoon releases. If not the very end of June, it's usually July. Because that's when the first game came out towards the end of June. The second and Octo expansion came out in July. So I was predicting, late June, July for Splatoon 3. And the fact that this was coming out then, I was like, either they are really ballsy, or either Splatoon comes out in June and they just are still waiting to show us anything, which would be really cutting it close, or this game is delayed. And yeah, that was kind of what it came down to. It was like, I wouldn't be surprised if this got swapped with Splatoon. And then what do you know? It got swapped.
I do think something in Splatoon's development went wrong, because with Xenoblade, we didn't get any indication of, oh yeah, something's wrong, where they're rushing. No, it seems like the game was coming along very well. If anything, the collector's edition thing just seemed like okay, we have the game done, we just don't have the collectibles done.
So I don't know if we've talked about this before, so apologies if this is repeat news. Did we talk about the fact that when this game got announced in February, did everyone here know that the game's development-wise is done? Right?
No, actually.
Yeah, I figured it was.
Okay.
It was just mainly in like,
moments
where like we're just minor things.
This
Bug
is like
bug fixing.
Because like the best way you can always tell with
polishing.
Nintendo stuff is if they have submitted for ratings and they've already gotten their ratings back, and they have a download size titled. Because usually Nintendo likes to get that stuff done way, way, way ahead of time in advance. And yeah, for the most part, localization, all of that big stuff has just been done, so it's pretty much been for them. Oh, we're going to bug fix for 7 months, and now that 7 months is 5 months. So, like, I don't think anyone out here is looking at this push-up being like, oh, I hope the quality is going to be okay. Like, Monolith has just not ever been that studio. Like, they release, like, they're not known for, like, technically, like, disastrous launches. I can't even think of, like, their most, like, notoriously technical game.
Would their, like, most disastrous launch be Saga 2?
I was actually going to say, if anything, I was going to give it to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, just because I remember people being really hard on that dynamic resolution, really tanking.
No, I think at least in recent times, I would say Xenoblade 2, which Xenoblade 2 is like a marvel of a development, like the way it came out as good as it did, but it's still like it lacked at release. It lacked some serious polish, and even now that it's been long since finished. Like they abandoned the project. It is still needs some work in some areas. So I'm just fully on board with like, yeah, just take as much time as you want to polish this, you know, because we kind of know what happened last time, and I would have really appreciated if this felt like a product that was polished at release.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You want to know how I knew that? Want to know how I knew that 3 was turning out well? So normally from 3's perspective, it was like, oh yeah, we have the trailers, we have everything, but something that no one, I think barely anyone pointed out is when Mythra got her spirit in Smash, they gave the massive melee Mythra outfit out. But when Pyra got put in Smash, alongside Mythra, there was nothing added to Xenoblade 2, and that's when I knew, oh yeah, Xenoblade 3 is probably in development as we speak, nearing, like, the end. Because if it was at the beginning, I feel like they would have tried and pushed 2 a bit more.
I love that the Smash costume not being it is your key. I very much appreciate that. Like, that's how you know that the overtime Xenoblade 2 builds was all done. They're like, no more costumes, everybody. Sorry, wrap it up. Although now that has me wondering, why? Oh, because she was a sticker. I was like, wait, why did she have a censored design? Yeah, if she wasn't playable, I forgot, because yeah, she had a sticker. I was wondering, like, was there ever a reason why both Pyra and Mythra weren't just stickers to begin with, and it was just one? That always seemed weird to me.
Yeah, and it may sound strange, but if you look at a lot of what Nintendo does, normally they push out a lot of content even for free unless the game is dead in their eyes. Like
Looking
Mario
at you,
Maker 2.
Mario Maker 2.
Yeah. So the most current example, of course, is that I can think of is Xenoblade 2, where they were pushing out a lot of content along with Splatoon 2. They were pushing out a lot of content, and the moment things started to dry up, it's like, okay, that's it. I think the last update we got for Xenoblade 2 was adding a Korean language setting, if I recall correctly. And then Splatoon had that whole, during the pandemic, they did a lot more Splatfests. It's likely that the pandemic directly affected Splatoon 3 as well, so they went back to 2.
I'd be curious about the Splatoon thing, because honestly, like, that dev team is so large. Like, I don't think a lot of people really realize how big, although it did kind of come up, like, when there was the official release date for Splatoon 3, people were like, whoa, this trailer's really huge on, like, Japanese, like, Nintendo's account. Like, Splatoon 3's team is, like, really big. Like, it's funny you guys kind of went to, oh, maybe it got delayed for an issue. My big thing was, like, honestly, just because of the way that team is and, like, how, like, dedicated they are to it, you've got to imagine it's not a time issue. They've had many, many years since 2. And even with the pandemic, I would say, honestly, they probably just have a really ambitious idea in mind. Because, like, we still haven't seen the single player. I have, like, a gut feeling like that single player is going to be some crazy, real big difference compared to the first 2. I hope it is. I don't mind if it's not. But, like, I feel like that team is, like, kind of at their point where they're like, hey, we're releasing a sequel to a game that was the sequel was already on the Switch, like, in its launch year. Like, they have something really to prove. almost kind of in a similar way to Xenoblade 3, where like Xenoblade 3 is trying to wrap up this trilogy, or at least we assume it is, whereas the Splatoon one is like, hey, this is going to be like the final Splatoon for the Switch. Like, let's make this as big and as crazy as we can. And if Monolith, honestly, yeah, Monolith definitely had a way bigger team working on Xenoblade 3 than Splatoon, but that's just because Monolith is huge. I think Nintendo's like, hey, Xenoblade's going to sell just as good in July as it would in September, which we can all agree with. Whereas Splatoon, if they could make it like 10% better, that's going to be a huge sales difference.
I mean, I want to point something out here. The reason why I think, first off, the pandemic had an effect is because of how they went back to Splatoon 2. Because, I get it, ambitious project, but a lot of Nintendo things were affected. Even if it was, like, this big ambitious thing that, like, oh yeah, it's going to take a while, I do believe the pandemic did affect in some way with how they were dealing with it. Not to say, like, oh, it shut it down. It's like, no, they just realized, we're not going to get this done by the time that we want it to. Let's go back to Splatoon 2 for a bit.
Ringo, what about you? What are you feeling like with the date, especially kind of now that we're like a month or so out from like that push up?
So, just on the whole, I like when it first got announced, I was like, in my experience, it was like the first time I'd ever seen a game moved up in date. So I was genuinely just like caught off guard by that. But on the whole, I think a lot of what you guys were saying was pretty much like nail on the head for my thoughts, right? Just in general, these guys probably have had Xenoblade done for a while, enough to say that a move in that kind of date, right, wouldn't affect anything. Maybe, there's going to be a little less polish, if anything, but I don't think it would really be anything too noticeable. I will say though, I'd be really disappointed if Xenoblade 3 comes out and it still has that like texture loading issue that Xenoblade 2 had.
Yeah.
When you skip travel.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
I know Xenoblade 1 fixed that, and by golly, I really hope that like you could understand, I guess, maybe why Xenoblade 1 fixed it, because it was an older, like, even if they were completely remaking it, right, it was like they already had everything done and solved on the Wii, I suppose, as opposed to making an entirely new game for the new system or whatever. So I trust that it won't be an issue, but I'll be pretty disappointed if that comes back, I'll be honest. But
well, I think it was also because of the scale of 2. Not to say 1 isn't as big as 2, but 2 has a lot. It's a very big game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying, again, like, I understand theoretically why it's a thing, right? It just sucks that it is. and I want to say that it got better over the patches, but easiest thing to say, though, is just like, I just don't want it to happen again. But yeah, in terms of the dates, I think again what you guys were saying was right. It's just like the pandemic probably hit Splatoon, the Splatoon team more than anticipated, and they just needed more time or something. And again, just like I can understand that Splatoon would probably be a better fall game than a summer game. Like, yeah, I could still see it being a good summer game, but I think it would probably be better when it launches in the fall, I guess. It in terms of like the kind of game that Splatoon is versus something like Xenoblade where it can come out whenever and it'll still sell pretty damn well.
Do you guys want to play a fun bet?
Sure.
All right. Which will not release this year? Or you can say both. Because when Splatoon was such a late September, I'm like, ooh, there's no way both Metroid, whatever it is, and, well, I should say Metroid Prime, whatever ends up it being, and Bayo comes out. I feel like Bayo still has a chance. I think Metroid Prime has zero chance of anything happening.
I think they're
going to
take any chance they get to move it back and take more time.
I wasn't even thinking Prime would release this year.
Well, remember, the
Yeah, no
rumor
chance in my
is
mind.
it is whatever the intermediate Prime 4 primer is. It is a remastered or remake kind of quality Metroid Prime 1.
Aren't they not just doing a trilogy?
Well,
aren't they not just
that's the
releasing-
thing. It's like because the way like the rumor mill thing for it usually works for it, it's been people saying they're going to bring the trilogy to Switch, and then other people are like, no, they're remaking Prime 1 in the style of what 4 will be like. Whereas like I could see both still not happening. My gut still makes me think October could be Bayonetta, but like I'm like I don't know where there's room for 2 shooters this fall from Nintendo.
I'm gonna think Bayonetta will come out probably. I'm gonna say like if it had to be something, I'd say it'd be the October game, maybe December. Now that the what used to be the Xenoblade slot is now no longer the Xenoblade slot. It could be October, December. I absolutely think Pokemon will be the November game, regardless.
Undoubtedly.
But whatever Prime thing, whether it be remake, remaster, 4, whatever, that's next year.
See, I'm still on the boat that Bayonetta 3 is early 2023.
I honestly, considering what a disaster Platinum continues to be this year, I'm also like, I believe if you told me Bayonetta 3 was done, I'd believe you, and if you told me Bayonetta 3 was halfway done, I would also believe you. Just because they have...
Here's gonna be Spencer, I want to throw an interesting game into the ring. Advance Wars.
I still think it has a chance of... okay, definitely not May. My gut told me May. June's way too busy. July's way too busy. I think Advance Wars, it can literally only be... Oh, no, obviously this can change. August, December. The rumor is December right now. I think that's crazy. That seems like it's sending it to die.
I think that's too far.
Well, no, I don't even think that's too far. I think in a post, like, Christmas rush buying season, who the fuck's buying that besides, like, the hardcore?
Yes.
But yeah, like, I really hope the December rumor's not true for that.
It's either... I can either see it being August, or it's just pushed back next year. December would be killing
it's
it.
the worst part is, we all literally know it's done.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
someone even has the game.
Well, they got it removed. Nintendo took it off their account.
Damn.
But yeah, that's such a tricky thing of like, yeah, the Advance Wars thing. Honestly, like if I was Nintendo, like the whole like war thing is not changing anytime soon. It's like the standest of standstills. So I'd be like, I would have just released it in May. I don't know. That's such a can of worms. Like I can't even really imagine. Like if anything, Nintendo is just lucky. They now have more games than months this year. Like
yeah, that is true. They have more games than months in a year, so they can spread it out pretty evenly. And people can't complain about, there's no Switch games this year. Like, no, we have a ton of games.
Just all the Nintendo fans making fun of all the Bethesda fans this year that are now crying. Alright, well, speaking of crying, our wallets will be crying, hopefully soon, and hopefully for good reason. Because one of the other things that was announced in this news dump was we have... Oh, well, I'm actually skipping over, but fuck it. The segue makes way too much sense. Nintendo announced a collector's edition, and...
I have no money.
Good news, Nintendo has still not sold it. Actually, Mac,
Thank God.
I would like you to pitch us on the collector's edition, because I feel like you might be the most pessimistic on it, or at least in terms of obtaining it. But do you want to tell people what's up with the collector's edition and where to get it?
So you can only get it from the official Nintendo store. It's still not available to be bought or sold. And you get an art book and a steel book.
Ooh, and there's a difference.
And the game.
I was gonna say, because what's the one thing that Xenoblade...
And then also if you are in Japan, there's no confirmation of it being like this or whether it will or will not be like this anywhere else. But if you're in Japan, you will get the game on release, but you don't get the collector's edition until September because this game got pushed forward at the last minute.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that's that.
How do you feel about it, though? What's the Mac collector's edition approval rate right now?
I'm trying to remember what the collector's edition was for 2.
Literally
just the art?
just art book, steelbook, no plastic case.
Okay. So technically you're getting more? Technically? Just because you're getting a plastic box too? Like the normal case? Compared to 2, it's technically more, but what I would say is kind of a drawback, at least for me, is the fact that it's only available through the Nintendo Store, which is just like, that's just kind of annoying. Let me buy it from other places. Because there's no guarantee that I'll get it day of. With Nintendo, I feel like I'd feel much more confident if I was buying it from, like, say, Best Buy or something.
Mac, did you not try to buy the Metroid Dread Special Edition last year?
I did not.
That's how I know that. So I'm excited it's a Nintendo Store exclusive, because Metroid Dread's Collector's Edition last year was a fucking disaster. Of like, it literally sold out within like half an hour at every retailer, and they didn't restock until release day.
Jeez.
And by the way, there was no communication of when or if it would get restocked, which then led to the scalping market being crazy, because it was like, is it going to be everywhere? Is it going to be at a couple stores? Is it going to be at fucking Kmart? Like, who knew? Whereas like with this, oh, bad latency. You are correct. This did Xenoblade 2 did come with a CD. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah. Okay, then I'd say it's overall a downgrade.
Well, to be fair, we don't know the price of it yet, so it could be cheaper than the Xenoblade 2 one.
That is true, but just in terms of what you get, I would say it's a downgrade, just because you don't get that. But even then, it's not like 2's was that much better.
Shout out to Target. I bought the Xenoblade 2 Collector's Edition from them. Day one, there was a Amazon price error where I got them to sell me the $100 Collector's Edition for $60. That was a great day.
Ooh.
That was a lot of talking to the manager, but was very worth it. But no, I think the Nintendo thing in the long run will be a good thing, because Nintendo knows how much they give their other retailers and how quickly it sells out. They know what something like a Xenoblade will sell, because they've done one for Xenoblade 1, 2, and X. They have numbers to back it up. It only being through the Nintendo Store, limited to a customer, and by the way, you can't just buy this as a guest. So to make this with a bot would be really tough. You have to be signed in with your eShop account. So if they limit it, they're not just going to, the amount of work it would take to get different eShop accounts and then extra bots, it would be a lot harder, because there's no guest checkout. You have to go through this authentication thing. I think that has a lot better chance. The only thing I would say that's the iffy part is we still don't have a time frame for when we can pre-order it, and everyone's just like every day I just refresh it a couple times. I'm like, any news? Nope, nothing yet. But besides that, I think it'll be way less of a shit show. Only thing that could change that is if it's really hyper scarce, which it could be, because we are still living through supply shortages. But overall, I'm happy that it's a Nintendo Store exclusive, because most people don't even know you can buy games through Nintendo directly.
Okay, well, here's the thing is, though, you're coming at it from the angle of getting it. I'm coming at it from the angle of, am I gonna get it on time? Because I want this day one, and I don't know. I don't feel as confident buying it through Nintendo as I would say again.
Has anyone else here besides me bought something from Nintendo's direct store?
No, actually, I did just a few days, last week.
What'd you buy?
I bought my stepbrother Animal Crossing through the Nintendo Store, because
nice.
My mother was like, I can't add money. I'm like, just buy it through the Nintendo Store.
So yeah, they are really good about getting stuff sent beforehand, because they are shipping it out from the place that they send it to their distributors. So their release times have been really, really good, and I actually have experience with shipping through Nintendo UK Store and Nintendo America. So Nintendo America and UK, I have always had ship at least 3 to 5 days before, and I got it, if not day of, day after. And to be fair, the only time I've ever gotten it day after was with the leeway time of going to the UK to an address. That was factoring in 1 day international shipping. So in most cases, they have a very good like shipping and production timeline. But again, it is fair to be nervous or skeptical about this because they've never done this with a collector's edition. They've never had an exclusive item before.
One thing I will say that's kind of definitely coloring. It's definitely something that's kind of more specific to me. Is I've dealt with some trauma in the past. When I ordered the collector's edition for Xenoblade X, it didn't come until like a week after the game released. So yeah,
I got it day of. I remember that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm. That's also like where I'm coming from, where it's just like I want to make sure I get it ASAP, as opposed to having to wait because something happened because some people are stupid, and now I gotta wait a long time.
So I will say also, I wanted to bring this up. I didn't get a chance to earlier. So among all the special editions, right? I was just taking a look at Xenoblade Chronicles, and I was literally looking through my Xenoblade Chronicles 1 special edition as well. Like between the art book and the steel book for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and stuff. The one thing that I'll say is Xenoblade Chronicles X came with something else that the other two that I'm not seeing Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
If you're talking about the USB, I'm gonna flip.
It's the USB with songs you can't take off.
That USB is so cursed. No. That USB is so fucking cursed.
The USB is the best. I loved it. I loved plugging it in, and I'm like, wow, look at all these cool songs. Why can't I download them?
I downloaded.
I'm fairly certain the Xenoblade Chronicles X Special Edition in Japan came with just a CD.
You gotta love Nintendo sometimes, you know?
Truly the most intelligent company.
Are you guys at least happy there's no regional differences this time? Like Japan, America, and Europe and PAL regions, we all get the same thing. No difference this time, finally.
I think that's neat.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, I'm glad that there's no real differences this time.
Speaking as I assume the only owner of the European Xenoblade Definitive Edition one, that might be the worst difference of like, not only did you not get the steelbook, you missed out on the amazing vinyl print. It was like, man, that was like some next level. Like, what is happening here? Because like the weird one was though there was no perfect special edition. Because I don't know if you all knew this, but I assume, did all of us here get the Xenoblade 1 special edition on Switch?
Nope, yep. I am too poor.
That's okay. So the art book, because all we had was a nice premium.
No, I did. I blanked. I did. Yes.
So
I literally was staring at them the whole time we were talking about special edition stuff. I was like, huh, what's in these things? Because I forget.
So we got in the Xenoblade Definitive Edition in the West, it is literally just the art book, but what's cool about it, it is a like hard cover in a like even like nice outer box. Like it's a really, really nice box for a sweet like art book, but that's all it is. But what's funny is that exact same art book in Europe is just a soft cover. So when I had gotten both, I was very quick to get rid of the soft cover because I'm like, I don't need two art books, and that was like a super easy way to make some of my money back. Was just to then like sell someone like I sold it to Oziak like because he wanted the art book in general because it's a really, really nice beefy book, and it was just one of those funny things of like I made over like half my money back for that collector's edition just selling the art book back. But yeah, and then Japan always gets weird stuff like with Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 1. In Japan, their steelbooks were for the soundtracks. So not the game, but they got steelbooks that were fit for the soundtracks only.
That is
really
weird.
That'll be extra weird if you're from Japan, because then the only steelbook you've ever had will be for the third game. And by the way, shout out to the often forgotten, thankfully not expensive, Xenoblade 1 Korean exclusive steelbook. It is like the glossiest thing I've ever seen, but it's like $10. They're brand new, and I cannot recommend them enough. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Hey, yo, shout out to the Xenoblade 1 Wii art book that we got in North America. That was like 6 pieces of like key art.
Dude,
and
I don't even
nothing
know
else.
This. What, was that like a GameStop thing?
Yes, because it was also like exclusively sold via GameStop.
And
It was
Nintendo
essentially, it's like, oh, if you buy the game, you also get this teeny tiny art book that was like 15
Oh!
pages.
Oh my god, I have
That thing is
this.
that thing is like rare now, I think.
I
I lost
forgot
mine.
about that. Oh my god, that's so funny. The first image I found on Google was a half-price book selling it for $20. That's a choice.
Expensive, am I right?
Wow.
Way too
Honestly, like
expensive, dude.
that was like such a funny thing of like when you would just get those random little bits of like, hey, here's a fourth of a sample instruction manual with a little bit of an art book stapled at the end for me. Like, it's so weird. Like, some companies like really went all out, and then other ones like did crazy stuff. Like Nintendo, especially. Like, I remember when I bought Other M, like Metroid Other M came with art lithographs. Like, I have a full set of lithographs from Other M, just because, like, here you go, take it, I guess.
Have fun. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah. So I mean, overall, although hold on, I think Alto and Ringo, do you guys want to like? Do you have any thoughts? Anything you like or don't like about the contents of the special edition?
This is coming from someone who has the Stella Glow Special Edition and Shadows of Valentia Special
Hold
Edition
on,
and Fire Emblem
We've got to
Fates
put an
Special
asterisk
Edition.
next to that. That is a day one edition. That is not a special edition. That was
It is
the
considered
edition.
it's special edition officially.
It's special that it released in general. I'll give it that.
Fair enough. But I also have the Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition and the Shadows of Valentia Special Edition. And I personally think the contents of the Xenoblade Special Edition beats Shadow and Fates out by the water. Mainly because it's just a lot better in general. Like, I don't know. The Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition really was underwhelming because it's like, oh hey, you're paying this much money to get the third game on your cartridge. Like, what the
Whoa!
That it's just very strange, in my honest opinion, that they did that. I do not know why they did that. Well, I know why they did it, money, but still. And then Shadow of Valentia Special Edition, that one's actually really good. I really like it. It has some cute little pins. It has the art book. It has a lot of cool stuff, in my opinion, but I think Xenoblade 3 Special Edition just beats it out of the water. It is just the better Special Edition, but I feel like we have gotten better Special Editions for Xeno games in general.
Mm-hmm.
Ringo,
Yeah,
what about you?
I mean, I'm not a huge special edition purchaser, so I don't really know what constitutes good or bad, personally. Like, I think the only special editions I've ever bought were Xenoblade X, Xenoblade 1, and Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Honestly.
I'm surprised you never
that's
got 2.
probably
I
a
don't.
lot.
Do you guys remember when like 2? Like there was, I feel like the first 3 years of the Switch, you would just every now and then see Wario64 post, "Hey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Special Edition, still $100 on Amazon. Someone buy it, please."
I never got the one for 2. I still, like, maybe one of these days I'll go back and get it if it's possible, but like,
I'll look up what it goes for.
I don't know. I still find for me Xenoblade 2 to be the weakest of all the Xenoblade games that I've played. So it's just like, as much as I care for it, I also like don't think I'd ever go out of my way to get the special edition. You know, maybe I'm a weird Xenoblade fan for that one.
No, I get it.
I'm not to just completely ignore what you said, but I just want to say all this talk of special edition has reminded me, oh yeah, I want those vinyls.
Well, God, I don't know what the fuck that would sell for. Thankfully, it's only one vinyl, so it's not like it's like a huge album. Oh God, yeah. I'll look that up next. Right now, the current cheapest listing, at least according to eBay, if you wanted Xenoblade, is that's a bidding war already. Never mind. Yeah,
Good luck.
War, wow, it really skyrocketed. Like the cheapest one right now is $500 on the market. That is crazy.
Jesus.
For a steelbook, a art book, and a CD. That is a choice. Well, hey, if I ever get really, really lucky, I will keep an eye out for you, Ringo, because I feel like there were a ton of those printed. But,
It was...
like,
I think it was Mac who was saying he wanted the vinyl. I mean, I'd be down to get a vinyl, but I just don't have anything to...
I think a vinyl would be cool.
I'll play my vinyl. I'll play my vinyl for you guys for one day. Just play it.
It has the Monado on it.
It's such a cool fucking look.
Has the Monado.
That's Dunban over there.
That's Dunban over there.
But
I'll never get over that.
But no. Last thing I got for you, Ringo. For the Xeno 2 Special Edition, if you could pick one item, would you want the art book more, the steelbook more, or the CD more?
The art book.
Okay.
I can get the soundtrack.
That's what you got that handy 38 megabyte Xenoblade Chronicles X USB stick for.
Dude. Where else could I listen to hot jams such as Black Tar and not be able to take it anywhere on the go?
You couldn't even export the tracks. That's the worst part. They're just stuck there.
Not only that, but I do, like, whenever I listen to Black Tar, I never want to use my computer. I want my computer locked down while I listen to Black Tar.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Modern problems require modern solutions. Time for piracy.
I remember day one, there was a...
For viracy or piracy?
Both.
I like the idea of viracy.
I want to at least say this. I don't think this is that hot of a take. I legitimately think the Xenoblade 2 Steelbook is one of like the prettiest steelbooks out there. It is... That main art looks really nice.
I agree. I really wish it had the freaking name on the spine, though.
That's just fucking Nintendo. They are the literal worst about their spines. It makes no sense.
I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy just having a white rectangle, a thin white rectangle on my shelf.
Mac, I'm gonna send you a link so you can look at the Smash Ultimate Steelbook and think about how much worse it could have been, though.
Oh, I would gladly.
So, yes, going backwards in terms of our timeline, we also got, hard to believe it wasn't just a release date and a special edition news, we actually got a new trailer. Alto, do you want to, like, give the TLDR, what are some highlights we kind of saw in the trailer? Because it was...
This is going to be a wild ride.
It was a lot of info.
Well, first off, Ringo, have you seen the spoiler of the Empress? Of the wing people yet, or were you blind on during that day when it just Nintendo's captions went fucking brain dead?
They just screwed up.
Ringo,
hello?
He's in the Twitter blind spot right now.
Ringo, were you there on Twitter when the whole Empress thing was leaked with the Nintendo captions as to who it was?
Well,
do you?
Okay, let's be honest. This is not a like, oh my god, spoiler. We literally were saying, I'm pretty sure this person is this person.
The Nintendo captions accidentally revealed the Empress was Melia.
Also, reminder, on our first episode, we literally said Jenna Coleman fucking leaked Xenoblade 3. Like, that was like 2 years ago.
We did. And it's fucking amazing because it's like, how do you fuck up that bad? The only other fuck up I can think of is the Sonic Frontiers one, where they accidentally leaked Amy, so they're just like, oh, well, fucking go with it, that's Amy, yeah.
I'm so glad
one thing I find really, really funny about this subtitle screw-up is, if you go onto the Xenoblade wiki, and you, like, I don't know what page it's on, but I'd assume it's, like, on the Xenoblade 3 page or whatever, but, there's a listing where it's like, here's a picture of Melia, and it's the picture of the Empress, and then here's a picture of the Queen, and it's just Nia, and it's just like, it's just really awkward and funny.
It says, oh no, if fucking the wiki outright says it's Melia, like right now when it shows the picture, Melia, the Queen of the Keys, and next to her, an unknown Gormati character.
Exactly, it's like, God. I get it, but it's like this is really weird.
You want to know what the biggest fucking bait would be?
Mm.
If it wasn't fucking Nia.
That would be hilarious.
It's just some new random Gormati and Nia's just standing in the back and like, hey,
Plot
I'm
twist.
not clean.
Plot twist. Plot twist. Nia is not Nia. Mio is Nia.
I was gonna say no plot twist. It's like Bizarro, like her like evil twin sister, Ayan. It's Ayan, the evil Empress Queen.
Ein. Oh man, that'd be funny.
I mean,
we still don't know what the deal with Mio is and why she looks like almost exactly like Nia.
Maybe a descendant.
Maybe
Her and Zeke got in bed and then
you know
Nia
what?
was created.
I'd be curious, Ringo, what you think, because I think this trailer had like so much in terms of gameplay, story, and everything else. Outside of if it's in a direct, like if there is a full-on focus direct, which I think they probably should do for this.
They did one for 2, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did one
for 2.
My biggest problem is they spoiled everything in 2, and like I feel like they want to.
Yeah, that did.
They went a little overboard.
My thing with this is, I want to know nothing else about the story. Like, I think what we've learned about the gameplay has been really, really interesting, and I don't think they've shown too much yet. But my thing is, like, I'm kind of in the same boat as you now, Ringo, where I'm like, I don't think we need any more trailers for this. Like, we're 2 months away.
I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the new trailer. So, let alone the leaks and stuff. So it's like I've been in the dark.
Well, thankfully, most of the information that's now just really come from it has just been the Xenoblade Twitter and Nintendo Twitter basically being like, "Hey, here's a new thing," or "Here's how this works," or like stuff like that, which I think is fine. Like honestly, when I think of like highlights from the new trailer, mine was holy shit, 7 people parties is insane.
Yeah, and there's something I want to point out, Mac, when in the trailer. Time stopped around little fuckboy Noah when he was a child. You liken that to when Sinon touched, or Sinon? Is that how you pronounce it?
Who?
The Xeno Saga main character.
Oh, Shion.
Shion, yes. You compared Noah's time stopping to when Shion first touched her Zohar thing, first came into contact with it, right?
Yes, at the very beginning of Xenosaga 1, there's a moment in which she touches the Zohar emulator, and it like everyone in the room just kind of ceases to exist, and it's as if time has stopped. I think this might be the new equivalent of that. There's also so one thing, this is not very spoilery, but we still don't know when exactly the worlds of 1 and 2 merge together. It could have been at the end of their respective games, or it could be it could be a more recent development. Who knows? We'll probably learn once 3 comes out. But there's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised if the moment where Noah like Noah, it freezes and time freezes and Noah's just like looking up, and at the sky you see it's like the sky is like fading away and there's another planet. I think that might be the moment when it happens.
Actually, this brings up something with me that I want to point out.
Future Connected, if there was evidence, mind you, this could be because, we haven't explored everything yet. I don't think it happened instantly. I don't think it was Shulk that did this.
Yeah, I personally have never been of the opinion that it was from the second both their games ended. I think that happened later on.
And this is going to be something wacky. I personally think that somehow X is also connected to this.
I think
if it is, that's like a fucking post-credit scene. Like that would just muddy the story. Like what?
Absolutely. I think there is a chance that they could connect it to X, but I think it will be something more minor or something post credits or
Give me
whatever.
Elma.
Hold up,
Just have Elma show up again.
Not to spoil the new
Hello,
Doctor
I am
Strange.
Elma Xenoblade X.
Not to spoil Doctor Strange 2. This is how they would incorporate X. It would be like, guys, this is our only way to save all 3 of our worlds. All right, no matter what the cost, we have to accept the consequences. And then at the end, they're all just sitting there in their own words, like, oh, we did it. We all live happily ever after. And then you just hear Black Dog play. It's slowly,
Black
and everyone
Dog
just starts
plays and
sweating.
You can't play the game.
Just
Someone-
that's the movie.
Why do I hear rapping?
Why do I hear rapping coming from nowhere?
Is that like the equivalent of like worst case scenario, like Morbius shows up in any MCU post credit scene now? I'm just like, oh god, no. It's
Time to
the
get
Morbius
Scarlet
sweep,
Witch.
the Elma sweep.
Sliding slinger.
Still gotta say though, out of all of the Xenoblade arts, one of my favorite actually comes from X, and it's not the Cherry Blossom Dance Storm that the director Nago had. One of my favorite arts, just in general, is just Ghost Factory, because that shit looks so cool.
Ghost Factory.
I fucking love Ghost Factory. Just also the name Ghost Factory sounds sick as fuck.
Anyways,
Wait,
back
Ringo,
to news that came from the trailer.
Ringo, I know you haven't seen it. There is literally one thing that's kind of story related that we do have to talk about from the trailer. It's not super spoilery.
Oh yeah, I've been kind of like muting my deafening myself.
Okay, are you aware of what Ouroboros is?
Nope.
Like,
all right, deafen yourself. Go away. We don't want you anymore.
We will
I don't-
type in the chat,
yeah,
then you can undeafen.
if you want to mute yourself, we literally know nothing about it outside of like what it looks like, and it is a major gameplay mechanic, which is mostly why I'm like bringing it up. So, do you want to mute yourself, or do you want me to like give you a quick
I'll
TLDR?
mute myself for a little bit.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll let you
I
know. when you
apologize.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It won't be very long, but it is something like I'm really excited about. With
Yeah,
it.
of course,
It's like,
of course.
when I saw the party first, I don't know if you guys were like this. I was like, yo, 7 is crazy. I then immediately thought, how the fuck will we manage 7 people? So then it was like, okay. Then when we're introduced to fusions, again, my immediate worry was, oh god, is it just one person confused? Like, really? Like, that? Like, we're just gonna, like, go back to fusions again like that? And no, it's like, no. Everybody confused, or at least many people confuse, and everyone has these Ouroboros forms where they basically become Sentai mechs. Like, they just become human-sized, like, Pacific Rim kaiju bots. And
they become the Weltall.
basically, you know, and I'm like, I think that is such a cool twist on things. Of it makes a interesting and definitely more dynamic combat system have a lot more layers to it. Of like, I am sure that there will be skill trees. I am sure that there will be ways to level up each people's Ouroboros. My like guts telling me, I bet you there are Ouroboros fusions we don't know about. I would be very surprised if it's just 2 people confused and no one else.
So I have my own little. I have two predictions I want to bring up real quick. One is related to the Ouroboros. The other is related to more of a general gameplay thing we haven't brought up yet.
Lay it on.
For the Ouroboros, I think we're absolutely going to be seeing other characters fusing. It's not just going to be these main 6. I think the 7th party member, because the 7th party member like swaps in and out all throughout the trailer. I think they will not fuse, but we will be fighting or seeing other characters who will fuse. So that's kind of my prediction on that front. I think it would be pretty neat if we saw Amelia and Nia fusion, but who knows? Anyway, in terms of the other little prediction or whatever, so there are actually classes in this game. Like each character has a different job. From what it looks like, it looks to be kind of somewhat akin to like the Bravely Default system, classic Final Fantasy.
Bravely Default, but good.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. It is good. Anyway, you know, I think it's because it's like, oh, we don't seem to be having the Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade X system of like armor. Rather, it looks to be your outfit is dependent on what job you have. And the job, so far, the only jobs they've shown have been the jobs of each individual character. So you can swap Noah into Tyon's job or Noah into Senna's job or whatever the heck. I think it is also like Bravely. I think it's totally possible that we will be unlocking more jobs as the game goes on, and that some of these more notable characters they've been showing off, like Ethel, might be jobs in their own right.
I do want to get into that, but I do have a question. I am 99% sure in the English trailer they call it Ouroboros. Are you going off of like the Japanese translation, or are you fucking with me?
I constantly Ouroboros, that is a word that I just constantly swap back and forth.
I just wanted to make sure, like, if I was having a Mandela effect where they're like, "No, Spencer, it's called Ouroboros." Like, didn't you listen?
No. They say Ouroboros.
It's Ouroboros.
It's Ouroboros. That's just a word that I jump back and forth between saying depending on how the sentence is flowing.
You have to make a
like
new,
on an
ant.
Make
a new live chat poll. Everybody in the chat, let me know. Was Matt gaslighting me? Let me know.
No. The question should be: is it Ouroboros or Ouroboros?
How
But you
would
spell
I
it the exact same way?
Just spell them the same way and let people.
Yes.
Oh my god. But
is it Ouroboros or Ouroboros? The winner will be Ouroboros.
I want to save the job swap discussion because that's not spoilery at all with Ringo. So like,
it's really not.
Alto, for you though, do you have any other like theories or thoughts of the fusion mechanic we see?
So I 100% believe that we're not gonna only be seeing fusion from our side. We're gonna be seeing fusion from the other side. And something I do want to point out: we do see the "It's a Wild Ride" guy. He is obviously an Ouroboros. He is clearly one and is clearly a fusion. I even saw some people speculating on, who is it? Who do you think it's fused? And some guy put out a crazy theory that it's Zeke and Pandoria. And like, all right. But
what?
I do think, apparently the theory goes it's Zeke and Pandoria because the guy has one eye missing covered by something. That's it. That's the theory. I'm like,
I'm gonna have to disagree there, buddy.
It's a bit of a stretch. But I do think that there are a few interesting theories. I do think this could be a character we have seen before in the game. And something I do want to point out, I don't think we're gonna see Pyra and Mithra. Someone who I do think we will see is Malos.
Oh, I thought you were going with future Rex theory.
No, we're gonna see fucking Malos. I'm calling it.
I feel like come back. Before getting too far into that, I feel like the people saying like we'll get like a grown up Rex. I think this game takes place farther after where 1 and 2 ended than people are saying. I think people like Rex and Shulk. I think they're dead.
Yeah, I as much as I think
the only way I can
see it, I think it means more if they don't get brought in, because as soon as you do that, you risk No Way Homing it, and I don't mean that in like a bad way of like when you have it is very hard to juggle bringing back nostalgic protagonists and telling a story with your current protagonist.
Speaking of by fun.
I think at most what they should do is just flashbacks. That's it. I do not want them in the present day story. I want them in flashbacks.
Yeah, it's like if you had to, because it's tough because there will definitely have to be moments. I guess my worry is, and I mean this game's definitely probably going to be long enough if you could do it. I don't think this is a series that should have an end game moment. I don't want to have the party members of 1 and 2 coming into the final battle of 3, you know?
The only way I see that happening is through a Project Crossing-like game developed solely by Monolith, where they're just bringing all of their Xeno games together for some fun crossover.
I'm so mad at myself. I just, like, again, I don't know, I have to go to, like, worst-case scenarios. The worst-case scenario of what happens to Xenoblade 3's ending, it's like, we can't defeat the final boss, and then you just hear, It's Ryan time, baby. Oh yeah, just all the
Ryan
memes.
comes in, saves the universe,
That is-
flexes on all of us, and
That is
fucks off
not the
somewhere.
worst case scenario. That is the best case
Yeah,
scenario.
no, in fact, Ryan's gonna come back, and he's gonna come back with malice on his shoulders.
What are you gonna do if the final line of the final battle in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is literally, "Whew, he really was a lifesaver."
I'll fucking
That would
give
be the
up.
best.
I will cancel Xenoblade.
Oh yeah. It is Ryan
But
time.
in all seriousness, I do think Malos, considering the fact that he lived in Ion somehow for a tiny bit with the Numa because she wasn't able to power herself. I do think Malos is still out there. I'm not convinced that this fucker goes down like that. If he's dead, he's dead. But I believe through some fucking strange miracle, the only Aegis / Trinity processor alive is the one who was the villain. Because I think Alvis and Mithra, or Numa. What?
Why Malos and not Alvis? Like, why Malos? Why would he survive as opposed to Alvis, who just
Well,
like,
we
he
don't know what the fuck
he
happened. to
assumedly
Alvis.
disappeared with the conduit, whereas Malos, we actually kind of watched him die.
The reason why is because after that, we still get lines from Malos through living through Ion. And this will completely depend on, is Ion still a thing? Because if Ion's still a thing, I 100% think that Malice's consciousness is still in there, and he's got to do something. But that's all.
Yeah,
because
you gotta think about it
Numa
like
is
this.
What?
You gotta think about it like this, right? I'll help you. I'll help your point out, right? He did a little reprogramming to Ion. Bad joke, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Get that one.
I was trying to think of how to help you out of that one, and I was covered with play. But Ringo, you're back.
Let's
And
do a
we're
little
here to-
reprogramming.
We're here to talk about something not spoilery, and I'm curious. So, job changing and outfits are gonna be a big one with this. Do you have any hopes or fears with jobs being tied to outfits?
I just feel like it's gonna be like customization. I like customization with my characters.
I imagine,
Well,
like,
honestly,
honestly, how many
that's-
RPGs though, like, I always forget what the fuck it's called. It's like glam looks, where it's like you set a skill for its like ability, and then you can have, hey, I want to wear this armor, but I want to have these stats.
Vanity.
Each game does it differently. That's why I'm like, it's just one of those things of just being like, yeah, I don't think I don't think you'll have to worry about fashion soulsing it, basically.
Yeah, I just want it to be. I just want, if they're gonna make armor tied to specific things, right? Give me vanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I just want good designs.
I mean, the game has. I
Full
mean,
stop.
what's a
I
bad design
think
we've
one of the-
seen so far?
I mean, in 3, none of them. I don't think any of these designs are bad.
They're drip. The game
No,
is
I don't.
chock
This
full of
game.
drip.
That's kind of the thing. I feel like I am loving all of the designs in 3, which it's just kind of like this game so far, from what we've seen, is like, for me personally, it is the redemption of Saito, because I was so mixed on him because of his designs for 2.
Like he
but
relapsed for 2.
3?
Like he was just
But for
the all-time
3?
low.
For 3, all of the designs are like, mwah, they're like, so good. So I just, like, all I really care about in terms of that front is just, are the designs good? Yes, cool. Though I will say, I would like vanity armor, just because it'd be neat to have a playthrough or something in which you can just keep everyone as their default outfits.
I'll say this,
But
I'm
you don't have to be
surprised we have not
restricted to
heard
their
this.
jobs.
I'm still saying there's no way we don't have guest artists.
All I'm
Guess
saying
what?
is just
Guest
give me
artists.
the ability to put on Vangar's mustache and give me fucking
Agreed.
Vandam's barrel chest outfit.
Agreed.
Like
and
that's
then-
what I want to be.
Give me Guernica's lips. Guernica Vandam. That's the new Vandam's full name is Guernica. Guernica Vandam. Give me his lips give me Vandom's barrel chest and give me Vanguard's mustache, and I'm good.
Exactly. Like, that's all I need. Like, that's the perfect character.
Yes.
Oh fuck, we've been going for a bit.
Yes. No. Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess the last kind of thing, without really getting any more into the weeds with it, is there one thing each of us would like to see Nintendo or Monolith focus on with the month and a half we have left before release? Alto, what about you? Like, what's one thing you're in charge of marketing for the next month and a half? What do you want to do?
What I would want to do, instead of spoiling the story itself, I want to give people more backstory of how we got here without spoiling the big stuff, obviously. Like, no captions, Melia's the queen. I want to establish who the Keeves are, I cannot pronounce that. Let me look on the Xenoblade wiki.
Ignis?
Angus, I think.
Ignis?
I think I'm pretty sure it's Agnes.
Agnes. All right. The Keeves and the Agnes, or Agna. No, just Agnes. Those two, I want to explore their backstories, their settings, without spoiling who the queens are. And I want to dive further into, like, this new world, because there's a lot of things we don't know about. And I think informing people about the culture, it will very much invest them in it more, instead of just throwing, like, hey, here's story spoiler 451. Neo and Mio are actually fucking fractured Nia's, and the queen is actually Nia's evil sister that died in Xenoblade 2.
One that she was created to revive.
Yes.
That'd be funny.
It would be interesting to say the least. But that's about my thought process with it.
Mac, what about you? What do you want Nintendo to market?
Personally, I feel like all I really have left at this point that I really want to see is not a full breakdown, but more combat, like kind of just give me the basics sort of thing.
Compile all of their Twitter clips they keep posting randomly and make a concise video about them.
Exactly, yeah. No, essentially I just kind of want some sort of like basic explanation of the combat system just on a surface level. But past that, I don't really want to see much more. In terms of like legitimate marketing, like they have to draw people in. Show off a few more characters. Don't go in depth. Like, don't give any explanations. I think the way they've been approaching this so far, where it's really not clear, like, the vast majority of what's happening. It's mainly just look at these characters. There's something going on. I don't know what's going on, but this looks cool. I think they should kind of continue more with that and just go, here's like another character and some more stuff we don't know what's going on. And then show off a little bit more of the world, because I feel like we've only really seen like 3 areas. I feel like they could show off maybe 1 or 2 more.
Nah, that's a good point. Ringo, what about you?
I feel like we've only really seen the Gower Plains equivalent, the Oblivia equivalent, and then the there's that little section where they're on the boat in the first trailer. That is clearly, like, this is made up of parts of the Letharian archipelago.
The only thing that would be better is if they didn't fuck with our expectations in all of those areas we've seen, or just in the first area of the game.
Oh my god. You know what? Another thing I want to know. This is something I want to know. Is this disconnected? Is this going to be like Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, or Xenoblade X? Because I want this to be like X.
I don't know if the Switch can handle X.
I think the Switch can handle X.
I would
give me
love
Xenoblade X on the Switch.
If they committed to X level of open world connectivity, that would be like a real like FU to the technical naysayers, man.
That'd be a real FU to Kingdom Hearts on Switch.
Low hanging fruit. It's like, whatever.
I know, but it would still be an FU.
Alan Wake can run on.
I'll
Switch,
take what I can get. Damn it.
Squares.
But yeah, you asked me, and sorry to just butt in, but
Hey,
in terms of the things that I would want to see, well, the answer is for me at this point, nothing. But if I was to, if I wasn't on my Xenoblade information block, I guess
Media
the things I
blackout.
would want to see. Yeah, that's the one. Is things would just be like kind of just again like I would say I don't know again because I didn't really see what they did for the gameplay. It's like again just more gameplay stuff and like just like kind of gameplay explanations and just showcasing off environments more or less more than anything would be all I need to see if I was to see anything. So again, maybe they showed off a lot of that in the other trailer. I don't know. I'm assuming yes, but
Not really. It was very story gameplay. There wasn't a lot of just like ambient like shot.
Mhm.
There wasn't a lot of like scene setters. But I will say,
yeah.
I do love the idea of a Ringo directed Nintendo Direct where it is just 30 minutes, no talking, just music from Xenoblade 3 playing while like you're looking at like day-night cycles.
You know
Just
what?
like
I'd be
show
for
off,
that.
just like show off like a quick showcase like 10 minutes of like the best way I would say show off Xenoblade like and I'll take Xenoblade 2 for example when you first get to Gormott and it's the part where you're getting to Torgoth just the path to Torgoth or right in the beginning kind of like higher level like let's say like level 10 15 or whatever or like in Xenoblade X when you get like first out of the crash site on your way to New Los Angeles. Was it New Los Angeles?
Yeah, in LA.
Okay. NLA, yeah. Like that kind of stuff. Just like uncommentated or if you wanted to do commentated stuff, that's fine or whatever. Just be like, hey, here's how this game functions, here's how this game looks. Or whatever, right? But I don't really need story stuff. Past the first trailer or two, right? I don't really need story stuff. I just want to know how it functions.
I'm gonna be Mr. Brand Manager here, so you guys can either boo me or like my idea. I want Nintendo to commit to making us spend way more money on this game and probably making Alto sad. I want a Xenoblade Chronicles 3. If we're living in a dream world, no, they won't. Well, no, they won't do this. I'll turn it back. I was going to say system bundle. That's too crazy. They'll give the system bundle to Splatoon 3. That makes more sense. They will do a new Pro Controller with Xenoblade 3's designs. I don't know if they would just kind of do a myriad of different colors or how they would really do it. We don't really know the primary colors of 3 yet. Pro Controller.
Some kind of red.
And, yeah, I mean, they could definitely do like a harsher red for sure. And then this is just one for me. Just commit to... It would be tough picking, because I know they wouldn't do it for all of them. Do a single amiibo. Because there's no representation chance of it ever coming to Smash. We have Shulk at least for one. Pyra and Mithra are hypothetically coming maybe this year for 2. And, like, if we're in a world where Capcom can make... Look, the fact that Monster Hunter Rise's expansion is getting amiibo. I'm like, Xenoblade 3, I feel like, could do one amiibo. Like, I think if you're being, like, lazy, you could do one amiibo. I think it would make most sense to do the main pair. Like, have those two be, like, or honestly, they could just do, like, 3 sets of 2. Like, where there's 2 characters per amiibo or whatever. And we're like, something like that. Like, there's a lot of potential just because of, like, how large the roster already is. But it's just one of those things where I would like it. They've clearly done amiibo for lesser releases. Like, it just seems like something that would be really nice. Like, they're clearly not going to do anything for Fire Emblem. Mario Strikers isn't going to have any amiibo. Sorry, Live Alive. We all know they're going to do amiibo for Splatoon 3. But again, that's 2 months out. If it's not out at launch, at least just kind of, like, announce it. Because it's just one of those little weird things where it's like, amiibo definitely have interest. but their release timing just never makes any sense because they're never lined up with Smash. And then when they're lined up with the release, they're usually super rare and hard to come by, and then get reprinted, and then they're flooding shelves like with Metroid Dread or with Skyward Sword.
I'm gonna big brain your big brain. Ready for it? All right. Just here's the amiibo. Right. Here's how they're gonna handle the amiibo for Xenoblade 3. If they're gonna just do it right, it's just gonna be an amiibo of Elma. Elma.
I want you to
She'll
know.
not even show up in the story.
I won't.
I'd buy
Here's
it.
why.
I will only allow
right. You ready for it?
I will only allow that if it's the size of the hilariously oversized Detective Pikachu amiibo. Do you guys remember how large that amiibo was?
I love it. It's as big as a soda can. I have it. I'm staring at it right now. It's great. Now here's the thing. Here's my big brain on the big brain. Ready for it? They give you, since you said that outfits are tied to jobs, Shulk's amiibo gives you Shulk's outfit. The Pyre and Myther give you the Pyre and Mytha, and also I guess maybe Rex if you want to be fucking weird and have a dumb outfit like that.
Don't make me pull
and
up
then
the
Elma's
JPEG,
outfit, and you get the jobs of all of them.
That would be honestly amiibo jobs. People would complain, but that would be smart.
As long as you get a way to a way to access them inside the game itself.
No,
easy.
I
say make them post game, and then if you have the amiibos, it's while you're playing the game.
Oh my god, I'm just thinking of like the batshit jobs of like the Game & Watch job, the Wii Fit trainer job, like how insane they could go, but I know they never would.
They never would. But that would be hilarious.
That is a big brain job. I appreciate that big time.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go reckless with all of my with my ideas, right? You gotta go all the way. But like now that I actually suggest that, like shit, that would sound really awesome. Like if you just get like Shulk's base arts as his job, like you get like backslash and fuck. What other stuff does he do besides backslash? I literally can only think of backslash. Like that, and then like for Pyre and Myther, you get like
their specials.
Their specials and stuff.
Because they'd be Pyre and Mythra. Well, if it was Pyre and Mythra, you get their specials. If it was Rex's outfit, you would get like double spinning edge.
Yeah.
And the anchor shot. Though I will say,
is it Rolling Thunder or Rolling Blade? Rolling Smash.
I think it's Rolling Smash.
Yeah.
But I would say, I think that is awesome. I think having jobs based on Shulk and Rex / Pyra Mythra, I think that'd be awesome. I don't think they'll do that.
No.
But that would be, for me, that would be the best case scenario. Honestly, the fact, like, this game having amiibo support at all would be kind of a miracle.
Honestly,
I feel,
I was thinking in terms of functionality, it would literally just be you unlock music.
Yeah, I think that's also, because remember, the only Xenoblade game to have any amiibo functionality was Xenoblade 3D, and that was just to unlock music.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Xenoblade 3, you scan in a Link amiibo, and it drops a chest where you can get a Link outfit.
If anything, I do think amiibos would be used to get the costume and maybe.
And Wolf Link, you get Wolf Link as a companion on the field.
That actually was a very neat.
I loved that. It was the best.
That was one of those weird ones where that Wolf Link amiibo had a cooler function in a game that it wasn't tied to.
Yeah.
You know, the Wolf Link amiibo, I just want to say, I'm really proud of this. I got through the entirety of that dungeon in Twilight Princess HD without taking a single hit, max health, and I'm never touching that dungeon again. That Wolf Link amiibo is completely maxed out. I am so proud.
Let's go.
That is one of my crowning achievements.
That's like something you should put on
resume.
I was
resume?
gonna say like a dating profile just to see the response. You'd be
No.
like, I don't want to brag, but I have a fully
Well-
maxed out Wolf-Link amiibo.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to
Here's
brag.
something. Actually, here's something. Speaking of Breath of the Wild, what if you remember when Xenoblade 2 was coming out, they added Rex's outfit to Breath of the Wild.
Amazing, by the
What
way.
if we did the other way around, where they add the
champion's
Champions
tunic?
tunic as like just as a thing in Xenoblade 3, or when Breath of the sequel to the
I
Breath
was
of the
gonna
Wild
say,
comes
Mac,
out?
you know that they would
We
do the
get
new outfit.
Noah's outfit.
That we would get the new outfit for Breath of the Wild 2 in Xenoblade 3, where we get like the arm exposed outfit thingy.
Any of that. I want more crossover between Zelda and Xenoblade, especially
Or-
considering
If
how
you
much-
buy the season
you know,
pass,
Monolith
you get
on
a
it.
bright red T-shirt that just has the Nintendo Switch logo. How does that sound?
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love that my Wii U is trying to sell me on a completely different system.
If they had made a Wii U shirt and that was on both, that would have been the most Nintendo move of all time. It's a shame they didn't make a Wii U shirt.
Yeah.
I do
just
want to give
want-
I do want to give everyone in chat a heads up, and Alto, if you have anyone in chat bring anything up, we're gonna have a question segment. We're pretty much just about done. So if anyone listening live has got any
I
questions
need
for
to
us,
stop the stream.
let us know. But
Yeah, if I suppose we can do this like 20 minutes.
oh yeah, we'll be up before 2 hours. Because the last thing we have
We've
to
been
talk
going
about,
for 2 hours. Well, a bit over 2 hours. Bit under 2 hours. maybe
this
approaching
call's
2
been 2
hours.
hours. We got a hot hour 40 of live mics. But
Yeah.
the last story, really quick, is more of a PSA. Hell froze over. Nintendo has actually allowed and printed more copies of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Torna. Torna has been absolutely getting demolished in terms of people scooping it up, mostly because that one definitely always had the lower print run, and I think more people that's a game that people buy to flip a lot because it goes for like $80-$90 and stuff, even at the $40 MSRP. But more reprints are coming. In my description, there's right now. Let me refresh just to double check. Xenoblade 2 is still in stock. So if you want a normal $60 copy of Xenoblade 2, which is actually gone up way more in price, now is the time to act. Or if you're Mac, enjoy your new copy of Torna. But there should be more copies later in May for Torna, but I don't think there will be any more after that. I do want to ask all three of you guys a question, though, because I do have a problem. As we mentioned with the Xenoblade 2 Special Edition, I have a physical copy in a normal Switch case of every game except 2. Should I buy 2 just for a normal case?
Honestly, just buy the case.
But no one sells just the case.
I mean, I'm sure you can find it on eBay. People sell
Well,
only a Nintendo
then
Switch
it's the gross
box.
repro cover. Here's my thought about this. I could just buy the case. Well, sorry, I could buy the game brand new right now, support my local business in Canada, and give the cart to somebody. I'm sure there are plenty of weirdos who would just take the cart for Xeno 2.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to get the cart for in box of Xeno 2, I think it's like a nice box.
Mac, what did you do? Are you also in a cart? I guess not a cartless life. We have the cart in the steelbook. Are you okay without your plastic Xenoblade 2 box? Does it ever bother you like me?
No, I have actually thought about it in the past because I bought Torna. I bought Torna because I now am at that point where I'm I'm a collector. I want to get every game in this series physically.
Did you not consider yourself a collector before a few years ago?
No. I don't mean it like that.
Oh, you mean just for Xeno, like how I'm getting stuff now leading into it.
Kinda, yeah.
Gotcha.
So what it is I am for it's this kind of thing where it's I have the steelbook for 2. So that's kind of good enough for me at this point, but I wouldn't rebuy the whole game at full price. But I wouldn't be against buying the case at a later point.
See, because I guess in my brain, there is still value for even just the cart of Xeno 2, that I'm like, I would justify it to myself, like how I bought that collector's edition and then sold the like softcover art book. It would be like, well, if I bought it and then even just sold the cart for $40, I'm only really paying like $20. I'm like, that's not that bad. But people can let me know how to spend my money wisely or poorly. Poorly. That's English. But yeah, PSA, pick those up if you don't have them and you want them physically, because as we mentioned back when Xenoblade 3 got announced, one is in very high amounts. It wasn't like super crazy high print runs, but you can still go into your local Walmart or Target or wherever, and they've got plenty of copies of Xenoblade 1. Xeno 2 and Torn are super duper hard to come by, especially for North America. Japan, not so much. Do you guys remember that picture I like posted like a month ago or something, where like they were advertising Xenoblade 3 and they had copies of 2 like out the butt? It was like they've just clearly never run out of copies.
Mm-hmm.
So Japan, not a Japan problem. I don't know what Europe is. Europe's kind of weird. Of like sometimes games over there go for like way more or way less. Like ESRB, like copies, like the North American video game collection market is just an absolute disaster, which can be good sometimes and can be really dumb sometimes. But speaking of dumb things, we gotta wrap this puppy up. So, any questions anybody might have, anything like that? If not, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Ringo, Alto, Macman. Mac, important question for you. Did you deliver that laundry?
I did. Well, I didn't. Rather, I have enabled the laundry to be delivered.
I see. Very smart. How do you go about it? Using your psychic powers that are secret?
He's still here. He won't leave.
Oh no.
Yo, shout out
What
to
do we do?
Genghis in my chat. Back in 2019, what a bundle. Got Torna physically and 3 houses for $50. That is a crazy deal.
That is a steal.
That is a wheel deal. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, actually, since we don't have any questions, and I forgot to put this on the show outline, and this is a PSA for all of you guys also talking, by the time we have our next episode, we will do a Xenoblade 1 little book club talkathon, where I am going to, in the next month, play through the entirety of all of Xenoblade 1 and finally finish Future Connected on
And
the
I'm
Switch,
gonna watch
obviously.
Sugar Conroy play Xenoblade 1.
Yes, so you guys are in no way forced to replay it, although, Mac, you're going to be probably as well-versed as I am because of your super sneaky project. But everyone else out there listening, if you want an excuse to try and prep yourself mentally and physically for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, now is the time. Pick yourself up Xenoblade 1, or replay it, or just play Future Connected. We're going to get into that, because in all honesty, I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of news after what we had in the last month. So it'll be good to kind of catch up, refresh, see how well it holds up. I remember my whole thing, funnily enough, with 1 is every time I go back to 1, I'm always amazed how well it holds up, and I'm really worried that I'm not going to feel that way when we do the same thing with 2, but I'm not sure, because I've literally not touched 2 in the last
I can't
5
wait
years.
to do 2 again.
Yeah.
Because 2 is my personal favorite. I have not been able to get into Torna, but I cannot wait to do 2. I'm gonna do New Game Plus for 2 though. I do not want to do.
I've never done New Game Plus on like any Monolith game. I don't think I've ever
Do for 2. I would recommend New Game Plus for 2, simply because I think base game New Game is a great experience, but I think New Game Plus is just so much better.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely make it go a lot faster. Ringo, when's the last time you touched Xenoblade 1? Was it definitive?
When it came out, I played it for my friend who never played through Xenoblade, and I 100% the game, or rather 99.99%, because I missed one side quest.
I'm sure that didn't infuriate you at all.
No.
I'm sure
Not
it's
at
not
all.
affected in the slightest.
But, yeah, and then I played through 2 on New Game Plus with him because I wanted to use Elma.
Oh,
So
Speaking of 2, Mac, what's the roommate update with Xenoblade 2 cutscenes?
Yeah, so we just finished chapter 6. So we're about to hit into chapter 7, and he's aware of the connection of these two games, and he was like, so at what point, if we were to go back and do 1, like at what point do you think I should go finish 1? Because he kind of he wants to finish 1 because he's like right at the end, and then we do 2. And he's like, so in terms of like not getting spoiled or whatever, like at what point do the connections start? At what point should we go do 1? And I was like, oh, we should do that like now. Because chapter 7 is when the things start happening. So yeah, that's where we are with 2. And then next, whenever the next thing happens, we're gonna jump back in with 1. With 1, he left off at Gatto, the fight with Gatto.
Okay.
The one in Agniratha, not the first fight with Gatto, the second one.
Okay. Could you convince him to play Torna, do you think?
I don't know.
I just gotta do a cutscene watch through of Torna, I think.
I think it'll be a matter of time, ultimately. But I'll leave that up to him.
If you crit path Torna, what do you think the longest is?
Torna, I feel like if you were to rush through Torna, you could get through in about 20 hours.
Yeah.
And that's mainly just because of the padding.
Yeah.
And of course we do. Then I also told him that we should do Future Connected, but only after at least finishing 2. I don't think we need to do Torna before doing Future Connected, but I do think we should do 2 before Future Connected.
It's gonna be so jarring to go back, but at least he's not playing it. That would be more nightmarish to be playing it and then going back and forth that much. But I get that.
All right, I'm gonna leave it up to him. I'm just gonna be kind of a general guide. You're a
Xeno sensei. That's your whole thing.
Essentially, yeah. I'm also, I've been, anytime something pops up where it's like, oh, this is kind of like drawing. This is like something that's from a past game, or like. This is something that was in Xenogears or Xenosaga, and this is what was done there, or oh, this was the case in a previous game or whatever, and I'm just kind of filling him in on the grander stuff. But when it comes to the Blade-specific stories, I'm just letting him kind of work it out, and then I'm just kind of giving my advice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you, guys, for chatting. It was like I was worried we'd go over 2 hours, but
this was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what was nice?
Look, all I'm saying is give me more black tar.
That was what made this a good episode. There was no half an hour Pokemon discussion.
Nope, no Pokemon, 0 Pokemon at all.
Alto, where do you want people to find you, stalk you, listen to you, touch you? What do you?
You can find me at Conductor Alto on YouTube. Just type it in there. If I don't show up, then oh shit. But I do analysis videos. I'm gonna be doing gameplays related stuff, like an analysis of Xeno 2, because I just got my capture card too, so you can look forward to that. And you can expect just a bunch of analysis stuff from me. I have a lot of stuff planned, just haven't had the time yet.
I just have a weird one, because we all cover games in different ways. I've not been like, oh my god, there's too many RPGs coming out. It just hit me. I am not looking forward to covering Xenoblade 3. Because I'm like, oh, I will play them whenever I can and however I can. And then I feel like, oh god, yeah, how the fuck, like, what am I going to pick what I talk about first, or what the heck I'm going to do? Like, Ringo, it's probably easier for you, because you should be like, I'll just, are you going to stream your first playthrough of 3?
I'm not even going to stream it, I'm just playing it with a friend.
Okay, even better. So yeah, it's like, it's like a weird one of like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like, what I would do, especially because it's so much game.
So much game.
Mac, where can people find you maybe covering Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
You can find me Twitter, JBomaka. You can find me on YouTube, Maka. It's either gonna be Maka or JBomaka, and that's basically it.
Mm-hmm. Ringo Dingo, where's your Twitchy boys at?
You can find me on Twitch and or Twitter under the name Ringo Ashburn with an E at the end. RingoAshburne. and I play a lot of fucking Tales of games on my Twitch. So if you like Tales of, we're about to finish up Tales of Eternity and start Tales of Symphonia next, so that'll be cool. Yeah, check that out.
Invite me on.
Invite
me on for the Tales of Hearts R stream, please.
I am gonna eventually play it. I'm planning on going through the whole damn series, so
Let me
I'll
know.
let you know.
You can be my motivator. I've owned that game for too long without beating it, so that'll be a good reminder.
I've never even seen anything of it, so
It's interesting. It doesn't deserve the hate it gets. Hearts R, I think, is a
I've
really
heard I've heard things about it. I've only heard good things because one guy won't shut up about it. Not you, but
Even
another
better.
person that I know.
Even
What if it was you?
The last thing I think about Hearts R was this. I found someone at an anime flea market selling it for $5. Complete. Physical
Ooh.
copy. And this was in a post-Vita price spike. I sold it 85 within 6 hours on eBay. I was like, this is the best. This is the easiest money I've made in all day.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I'm excited to go through the whole series. I'm especially excited to revisit like the top trilogy, in my opinion, of Symphonia Vesperia. But
Yeah.
that's just me. Anyway, enough talking about me. Where can we find you?
The description of this video is the best place. Just hit the subscribe button is just what I tell everybody, and then I'm just talking everywhere, so that's the easy part.
Or if you're for some reason on my channel, subscribe to me.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you gotta subscribe. Well, that's the best part is if you just click the description, everyone's things we just said are right there at the
And
very
hit
tippy
that
top.
bell
You need
notification
add
to
people
find
in the
out when videos
description,
get uploaded.
Remind me later.
I don't think I've ever
Give the video a
once
like,
told
too.
people to click the like or do the bell because I don't do that myself, so I feel like I'd be a
Click
hypocrite.
that like button and click that bell for
Make
notifications
sure that
in the
subscribe
future.
button is pressed. Hit that like button and ring the bell for notifications when new videos come out. You getting suit your back.
If you're that one guy who likes my video before watching it, thanks that one guy. We all got that one guy.
We all got that one guy.
We all got that one guy.
All right, well,
Shout outs to
Anyways,
that guy.
I think that
before
should
we
be
go,
it.
instead of
Oh,
saying
never
goodbye,
mind.
I thought this would be fun. Ringo, you are going to be our deciding factor. I'm going to type this word. How do you say this word? And that's our finale.
Ouroboros.
Thank you.
Ouroboros.
Thank you.
Aurora